The Buffalo Sabres are an interesting team to look at. Since they came into the league at the same time as the Vancouver Canucks, I figure, you know what? Now's a good time to talk about Buffalo and their current rebuild. And issues it's having as it tries to come out of the rebuild. This is why intentionally tanking is a bad thing. It's really hard to pull your way out of that tank. But, let's get into this. The 2011-2012 season. It's a disaster-ish kind of season. Ish, I say, because it wasn't horrible. They finished 39, 32, and 11. 89 points that year. Lindy Ruff's the coach. Their draft, at number 12, they draft Grigorenko, who's a highly thought of prospect at the time. At 14, they draft Semgus Girgensson, so that's 2 in the top 15. That's going to help, right? We'll see. Jake McCabe is drafted at 44, and then Linus Ullmark is drafted at 163. Now, I've used annuals before, and since I've got almost all of them here, I say almost because I can't find the 2016-2017 one of the Hockey News. So let's just take a look. Because these previews and looks kind of give you an idea of where the organization's at. It was a third miss in 5 seasons for Buffalo, which hasn't won a postseason series since 2007. Team president Ted Black decided to spare GM Darcy Regier and coach Lindy Ruff, the NHL's longest tenured duo, so Regier had little choice but to change the stale core. The trade of Derek Roy to the Dallas Stars for feisty left-winger Steve Ott was the Sabres' early summer splash. More than anything else, we needed to move the balance of skill versus the nature of our game being a tougher team to play against, Regier said. So they added Steve Ott. John Scott shows as an addition as well. Grigorenko out of the draft. Mark Mancari, Kevin Porter, Adam Party. This was the first year they had Christian Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff left the Vancouver Canucks after the 2011 Stanley Cup final. Said he wanted a chance to compete for the Stanley Cup. Didn't work out that way. And Vancouver fans had a good laugh about it for a while. But, I wanted to get into 2012-2013 preview. They predicted that they would finish 7th. So their prediction was that they would end up finishing, and I believe that means 7th in the division, not 7th in the East. This predicts that Vancouver's going to go to the Stanley Cup final. So, no, they're predicting Buffalo 7th in the East and that they're going to go to the playoffs in 2012-2013. So what happens is, the following season, Lindy Ruff's let go and in comes Ron Ralston. The team finishes 21-21-6. Ruff's record was terrible, so Ralston did help pick the team up. They didn't make the playoffs, however. In the draft that year, they drafted Rasmus Ristolainen at number 8. They draft Nikita Zadorov at 16. He, of course, is a Colorado Avalanche now. JT Compher at 35. He's a Colorado Avalanche member now. And Cal Peterson at 129. And I had to look this up. So Peterson gets drafted by Buffalo, and they didn't sign him as an NCAA player, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to go free agent. I'm going to see what my odds are. And he signs in LA. So he decided not to sign in Buffalo. And if Peterson was a Buffalo goaltender right now, with him and Ullmark, I think they'd be in pretty good shape. So, the year after, what does it say? The title, This Is Gonna Hurt. The buzzword in Buffalo starts with S, but it's definitely not Stanley. It may require some suffering, said GM Darcy Regier, setting the tone for a season in which the Sabres will reach for the first overall pick rather than the Stanley Cup. Yeah. Fans in Buffalo thought they'd already suffered enough. The Sabres have missed the postseason 2 straight years and 4 of the past 6 and haven't won a playoff round since 2007. The droughts will lengthen this year under Regier. The GM received a vote of confidence from owner Terry Pegula after selling him on a plan to build through the draft. Buffalo twice picked in the top 14 in 2012 and added a pair of top 16 selections this year. We're not talking about we're talking about not making the playoffs and the hardships. You have to pay the price to win a Stanley Cup. The additions that year were Jamie McBain and Henrik Tolinder, and departures Jochen Hecht, Andre Sekera, who went to the Oilers, and Adam Party. So there's the 13-14 preview. How did that season work out for them? Rolston gets let go partway through the season because even though they expected to miss the playoffs, this was awful. So Ted Nolan gets brought in. 2013-2014, they end up 21, so the same amount of wins they had in the 48-game season. 51 losses and 10 overtime losses or shootout losses. 52 points. They draft number 2. So it was, we're going to be number 1. No, we get number 2. They draft Reinhardt at 2 and Brendan Lemieux at 31st. Lemieux, of course, ends up with the Jets, now with the Rangers. The following season. Why didn't you have it all marked? Because I don't like working with a script and I don't like working with everything. This is bad. Aiming low in Buffalo is the headline, and it's right underneath a picture of Matt Moulson. I can't write this stuff. UFA catch Matt Moulson signed with Buffalo for 5 years. So, yeah. Here we go. And this was the year Moulson signs. The Sabres spent 3 years getting younger. Now they've decided it's time for their prospects to learn from respected veterans. Buffalo, which still has its eye on winning the Connor McDavid lottery, was an unexpected buyer during the offseason. The last place club spent wildly on former Montreal captain Brian Gionta, 3-time 30-goal scorer Matt Moulson, and defender Andre Mazaros. The Sabres also traded for Canadiens blue liner Josh Georges. The veteran forwards are expected to teach Zemgus Girgensons, Mikhail Grigorenko, and number 2 overall pick Sam Reinhart how to be pros, while the blue liners will serve as mentors for Rasmus Ristolainen, Nikita Zadorov, and Mark Pesek. Our kids are sitting at home going, wow, said GM Tim Murray. They watch the National Hockey League. They know the quality of the player. They know the quality of the person. That changes the mind. This changes the mindset. Additions, there it is. Matt Moulson, Sam Reinhart out of the draft, Brian Gionta, Cody McCormick, Zach Dalpe, Andre Mazaros, Josh Georges, Tyson Strachan. And there's Ryan Miller, the new savior of the Canucks, on the front. And it's funny because, you know, they went out and they got veterans and they spent a lot of money. Sounds similar to something I've heard in Vancouver. The 2014-2015 season was bad. Nolan was the coach for it. 23 wins, 51 losses, 8 overtime or shootout losses, right? So they actually get 54 points. They're getting better. They go from 52 to 54. At that rate, in 20 years, they're in the playoffs. Eichel's drafted number 2 because they lose the draft lottery again. Brendan Gooley's drafted at 51. He, of course, has now been traded for Montour. And one of the things that stood out to me when I was looking over all these draft classes is Buffalo's lack of ability to find those steals in the mid to later rounds. This is a problem when you're going through a rebuild. It's not just about how many picks you have, as I've said. It's being able to develop these picks. It's not like Buffalo wasn't a team that had a lot of picks or was getting extra first rounders. You just have to draft the right guys. So having all those picks is great, but if you don't know what you're doing with them, or if you don't have the luck in the later rounds, it really doesn't make a big difference. So with 54 points, they decide to go with Dan Bylsma as coach. So they hire him and bring him in. So here we are. We're up to the 2015-2016 preview. Sabres hitting the jackpot. Buffalo's brutal 2-year stretch is over. Now the rabid fans get to enjoy their reward. Jack Eichel. From 1979 to 2019, 10 teams drafted in the top 2 in back-to-back years. 5 of them reached the Stanley Cup final within 8 seasons and 3 won it all. The Buffalo Sabres hope to join that list after 2 years of suffering. I really shouldn't have paused there, should I? Buffalo has selected 2nd overall during the past 2 drafts, picking Sam Reinhart first and then Jack Eichel second. Both are expected to play center for a revamped lineup that looks nothing like the past 2 cellar dwellers. The Sabres will welcome Ryan O'Reilly, Evander Kane, Robin Leonard, David Legwand, and Jamie McGinn to their roster. I'm only laughing because they're all gone. Buffalo also has Dan Bylsma stepping behind the bench. Gone. We've taken big strides, said GM Tim Murray. Our players are excited, but I'm not going to put pressure on our players or coaches and say we're a playoff team now. There's still a lot of uncertainty. Everything's new, and let's see how it all comes together in camp. So, yeah, new additions. Kane, of course, was added. Ryan O'Reilly, Jack Eichel, David Legwand, Jamie McGinn. Cal O'Reilly shows up on here as well. You're going to get Ryan. You got to get Cal. Jason Atkinson. Carlo Koliakovo. Here's a trivia answer for you. Matt Donovan and Bobby Sanguinetti, who, of course, would be relegated to the minors for the Canucks, who clearly hated. There's one user on the Canucks forum that Bobby Sanguinetti was great. And Robin Leonard, who came in to be the starter, right? So that season actually is not a disastrous season. As much as I'm laughing, all those names and just the. Anyways, they finished 35, 36, and 11. They have 81 points that year, but they missed the playoffs. But that's okay because they're getting better. Nylander is drafted at number 8, and Cliff Pu is drafted at 69. Now, I mention him because he, of course, gets traded to bring in Jeff Skinner, which is a very, very smart move. Now, as I said, I couldn't find an NHL Hockey News yearbook for 2016-2017. I have it somewhere. It may very well still be in the storage unit somewhere. We're going to try to get that cleaned out over the next week. I think we're just kind of just like, we're just done. Let's leave it. Storage Wars can find it. So 2016-2017 preview, and the headline for the forecaster is, if Cleveland can, then why not Buffalo? Man. Now that the city of Cleveland has ended decades of sports futility with the Cavaliers' NBA Finals victory, perhaps the next big sports city in North America ready for a championship is Buffalo. While the NFL's Bills continue to wallow in mediocrity, the Sabres appear to be Western New York's best bet for eventual triumph. They still have a lot of work to do, of course, but the foundation pieces continue to be added. After landing number 2 overall pick Jack Eichel in the summer of 2015, the Sabres added talented playmaking forward Alex Nylander with their top pick this year. Nylander has an outside shot at playing right away with the Sabres, but is more likely to spend one season developing. Buffalo can afford one more season developing. Buffalo can afford to be patient with the talented Swede as other young forwards such as Hudson Fasching, Justin Bailey, Nicolas Baptiste, Josh Dupuis, William Carrier, and Evan Rodriguez add depth to the roster, and all are candidates for promotion this season. There's only one of them that's still there. Meanwhile, the blue line is improving as well. Finn Rasmus Ristolainen is an emerging talent who could one day challenge for the Norris Trophy. The addition of Dmitry Kulikov from Florida also helps. He's gone. Looking for the talented Russian to log heavy menace with the Sabres. If there's one main problem area, it's goaltending. Robin Lehner's the chosen one by general manager Tim Murray to be the starter, but injuries continue to dictate his career path. If Lehner does not step up and prove he can handle a major workload, Murray may decide to look elsewhere. As they inch closer to becoming legitimate playoff contenders, the Sabres must improve, and the face-off circle as well. Last season, the team finished well under 50% at winning draws. The team needs to get better in 2016-2017, so perhaps the club can use a veteran pivot and a role player. Overall, the Sabres are headed down the right path. Even if they do not make the playoffs this season, there should be significant progress made. Buffalonians just need to remain somewhat patient. So it looks good. However, under Dan Bylsma, year 2, they finished 33, 37, and 12. They stepped back. They end up with 78 points. Number 8 overall in the draft, they draft Casey Middlestad. Who, I understand there's people who might think Middlestad's just not the guy, but you know what? It's his first year. It takes time for some of these kids to get used to the NHL. Luukkonen is still, like, potentially the big deal, right? In net, he could end up being the guy. He's drafted at 54 that year. But again, the overall drafting and development with this team, for me, is an issue. At the end of that season, Bylsma, gone. Right? Jack Eichel rumored to have said, Bylsma is out. Murray said, I'm not getting rid of Bylsma. So both of them are gone. Buffalo, blow it up. Blow it up. So we go into the 2017-2018 season, and at this point, it's a rebuild that's taking too long. Coming out of a 78-point season, this rebuild's taking too long. And even the prognosticators in the Hockey News, who have been quite upbeat on Edmonton and Buffalo at times, they do not prognosticate that the fortunes of Buffalo are going to get better coming out of the firing of Bylsma. This time around, the Sabres think they have it right. Buffalo's carousel of coaches and GMs has landed on Phil Housley and Jason Botterill. Sabres hired Botterill to replace Tim Murray, making the longtime Pittsburgh executive their third GM in 5 years. They picked Housley to replace Bylsma, making the Hall of Fame defenseman their fourth coach in 5 seasons. The newcomers will seek to implement owner Terry Pegula's 4-point plan. He wants to improve the discipline, structure, communication, and character of the organization. There's little doubt those elements were lacking. Bylsma's message either didn't get through or was ignored by the players. The word disconnect was thrown around regularly. Players were late to meetings. Though everyone said they liked each other, there was little semblance of team play. Botterill didn't waste any time making trades and adding free agents. Housley called all the players soon after he was hired, establishing open lines of communication while laying out his expectations. Buffalo hopes it leads to ending a 6-year playoff drought. So they're coming out of a 78-point season. How bad can it be? Last year, of course, 25 wins, 45 losses, 12 overtime and shootout losses. They draft Dahlin number 1 overall. It is a disastrous season because here they're showing some advancement, right? 15, 16, 16, 17, there's some advancement. There's some reason for optimism. 17, 18. So going into this season, it is understandable that prognosticators like myself said 7th. Although there was a lot of excitement with Dahlin coming in that the team would make rapid improvement. And they've improved. The thing is, they had that 10-game winning streak, which led people to very, very optimistic appraisal of the team. They currently sit 6th in the Atlantic Division, and they're not in 7th because Ottawa and Detroit are awful. Just awful. Otherwise, they would have some concerns about finishing 7th or last. But here we go. This is this year's prognostication by the Hockey News again. Drafting Rasmus Dahlin first overall was the easy part. In the ultra-talented defenseman, the Sabres possess a future superstar. And that absolutely is the case. If you've watched Buffalo this year, Dahlin is fantastic. He can play a heavy game. He can play a lot of minutes. He does a little bit of everything. He's good at both ends of the ice. He really is the total package. GM Jason Botterill inherited a mess from his predecessor Tim Murray, even with Dahlin. Botterill has his work cut out for him in ridding the Sabres of a losing culture that has festered for years. Those years started right up here. 2011, they were a pretty strong team, and then it just fell off the map. He has made his boldest move July 1st, trading Ryan O'Reilly to St. Louis for 3 players and 2 draft picks. Dealing O'Reilly, one of the game's best two-way centers, leaves a glaring hole in the lineup, but the forward unit is deeper after the summer roster shuffle. Botterill, who left Pittsburgh just weeks before winning his 3rd Stanley Cup as an executive with the Penguins, is determined to build a sustainable winner. He covets speed, character, and playoff experience. The hope is for rookies, Dahlin and Casey Mittelstadt, and of course Jack Eichel to flourish with a revamped supporting cast. And of course the additions, Connor Sherry came over from Pittsburgh, Vladimir Sobotka, Patrick Berglund, and Tage Thompson were added for Ryan O'Reilly. And of course, draft picks and all of this. It honestly, I still to this day, I think trading O'Reilly by Buffalo was a curious move. Whether or not it works out long term, I don't know. It hasn't made things worse this year. Look, they had 62 points last year. So let's not go back and try to redo history and say, oh, O'Reilly was keeping them competitive, because he wasn't. This was not a competitive team. This was a team that needed a change in things, and things have gotten better for them this year overall. But again, that 10-game winning streak, it really gave this appearance that the Buffalo Sabres were finally done the rebuild, so it's been more painful to watch them fall back down the standings. And yeah, Dahlin, a big ad. Hunwick was a curious one to me. Carter Hutton, curious to me as well, because career backup. And they let Robin Leonard go, of course, to the Islanders, and he's flourished there. Their overall record under Phil Housley right now, 31, 32, and 971 points. So, what's the end game here? Well, they've made some improvements this year. They need to continue that through this summer. It is on Jason Botterill to make sure he adds the right players. In green are the guys who are, to me, absolutely core players. They're not going anywhere. Eichel, of course. Reinhart has taken some time to develop, but he is that key guy right now. Dahlin, absolutely. Mittelstadt, I know, not a great rookie season, but not bad either. Ristolainen, I know there were talks of Tampa trying to pick him up. I personally think they would be insane to trade Rasmus Ristolainen. I think that would be crazy. Montour added for Gooley at the deadline. I think Montour is going to be a key guy for them going forward because they need that defensive depth. So that's 3 core guys, I think, going forward. In red are the guys that maybe they stay, maybe they don't. Skinner, who's a UFA this summer. He's got a lot of goals, but he only has 1 in his last 15 games played. So Skinner is hot, cold, hot, cold. This is how he's been his whole career. This year he just had that hot streak for a little bit longer and a few more goals than usual. Connor Sherry, some decent points for him this year. Does he stick around? It's a question mark for me. He may. I don't think it hurts him if he does. Evan Rodriguez could very well stick around. He could also be a guy that they dangle out there for trade bait. I don't know if they decide to make moves in the summer. Zach Bogosian, question about whether or not maybe you might want to go with a cheaper option than Bogosian. Maybe his contract's a little high. It's just, one of these things that I don't know if he's a core guy going forward from here. Carter Hutton, I have some question marks with Hutton as well. Is he a starting goaltender? To me, the answer is not a 1A starter, no. Ullmark is not on the board because I really wasn't sure where to put him. Is he a core guy going forward? Is he a guy that maybe they say, all right, well, we can upgrade to, somebody else. Carter Hurt's available. Quick, go get him. I'm not saying that's the case. It's not the case. I'm just throwing out there as, I'm not sure with Ullmark where he fits into this. Thompson's one that there's been some tantalizing parts of his game since he got to Buffalo, but it's a matter of putting it together on a consistent basis. This is where St. Louis fans say, yeah, we know. And Alex Nylander. Is he going to be a core guy for Buffalo? Is he going to end up being a guy that I'm going to regret not putting in green? Or does he end up getting moved this summer? Nylander was drafted in 2016. That's still recent enough that you don't give up on him. But if a team makes a really solid offer for him, do the Sabres just say, well, we're keeping him, thanks for the offer, or do they jump at it? And in black are the guys that likely are on their way out. Palmanville, of course, veteran guy. He was their top scorer back in 2012. Kyle Okposo hasn't really worked out so well with him. His goal totals have not been what was expected. Zemgus Girgensons, who's been better the last week or so, but in general, I think Girgensons likely he's on his way out. And Vlad Sobotka, when he went over to the KHL, I don't know what happened, but since he came back, he hasn't been as effective as he was before he left. So Vladimir Sobotka, I think, probably finds his way out of town. The question mark I have with Buffalo is, with the guys in green, and even if all the guys in red stick around, and you add a first-round draft pick this year, and if it's number 7 or number 8 in this year's draft, probably doesn't join the team this year, can they realistically look at this roster and say, yeah, we can get to the playoffs next year? And that's the one issue, because all of these are non-playoff years. You can't keep doing that. Their goals for right now is 24th in the NHL as I'm recording this. Their goals against is 23rd. So while they've shown progress this year, they've already got 9 more points than they had last year. Like I said, it feels like a step back on some level because of that 10-game winning streak. There are pieces there. Now, if Buffalo wins the draft lottery and they get Jack Hughes, they may very well find themselves in the playoffs as soon as next year. If they end up drafting Kakko at number 2, they may very well find themselves in the playoffs next year as well. Kakko's physical size means that he may have an easier time getting to the NHL game than Hughes right away, but long-term Hughes is still seen as the guy with the more upside. Buffalo fans would love to be having this conversation this summer. The thing is, they keep adding these draft picks, but they're not adding, when you look at the overall depth, they're not drafting anybody outside the first round. That's really a key guy. You can look at Ullmark, and then after that, it's kind of up in the air. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always, especially from Buffalo fans who've been waiting for me to do this for a while, so I thought today was a good time. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, there you go. The continuing rebuild of the Buffalo Sabres. And where does it go from here, and who do you add? So if you don't see a name on the board, it's because I don't consider to be a core guy right now. But let me know your thoughts as always, and I'll talk to you again soon.